There's nothing like a bite of jelly-filled Jamaican donut. Soft, chewy, and bursting with a sweet fruity filling. These were my go-to after-school snack back in high school, and they never fail to hit the spot. Do you have a snack like that? Let me know down in the comments. Hey, I'm Nick, and today I'm going to show you how to make this delicious treat from scratch using a rich buttery dough and a vibrant strawberry filling. Stick around because by the end of this video, you'll have a batch of donuts that will rival any bakery. Let's dive right in. Alright, let's first start with the dough. This rich and delicious dough is surprisingly easy and straightforward. I've weighed all my ingredients so I could consistently replicate the results. Trust me, this makes all the difference. In a bowl, start with 6 ounce whole milk for richness. 1 ounce brown sugar, although other sugars are fine. Half tablespoon instant yeast. 1 medium room temperature egg. 1 ounce melted butter. And finally, a teaspoon of salt. Give that a really good mix to dissolve everything. Weighing out ingredients not only helps me achieve the same result every time, but it also makes scaling the recipe easier if you're planning to treat a crowd. Once everything's mixed properly, go ahead and add 1 pound or 16 ounces of all-purpose flour to the liquid mixture. I'm using a spoon to mix everything first to get most of the flour hydrated. Once the liquid is mostly absorbed, it's time to knead with your hands. This just helps with reducing the messiness a bit. Knead for about 8 minutes until the dough gets relatively smooth. Remember, eggs, milk and sugar makes this an enriched dough, so it won't ever be perfectly smooth. Don't worry about that. Now, cover the dough for its first rise. I usually do 30 minutes at room temperature. If it's much colder or warmer, you might need to adjust your time depending on your ambient temperature. What's the weather like where you're watching from? You can let me know down in the comments. While the dough is resting, let's work on our filling. Ideally, this is the first thing you make because you want it to cool properly. Usually for the filling, syrup is used, specifically strawberry or a red syrup like fruit punch. Cordials or even jams are good to use, but I like to take it up a notch. To make my filling, I'm going to be using strawberry flavored daiquiri mix. This is much more flavorful and complex than standard syrup. Even though you could skip this, I want 1 tablespoon of powdered gelatin plus 1/4 cup cornstarch. I'm going to need a cup of the strawberry daiquiri mix and 1 cup water. To thicken the jelly, start with 1/2 cup water and add the tablespoon of powdered gelatin for a quick bloom. This step is crucial to avoid clumps of gelatin. Add another 1/2 cup of water for a total of 1 cup. And then add the 1/4 cup cornstarch, mixing well to dissolve. To prevent lumps, gradually add the cornstarch mixture while stirring in the hot but not boiling liquid. Don't forget a pinch of salt to bring the flavors together. This should thicken rapidly, so next I'm going to give this a quick taste to see if I need to adjust anything. This filling has the full flavor of strawberries, perfectly sweet with a fruity tang. A standard flavored syrup would never give you this much complexity. Pour it out, it will thicken into a more jelly-like consistency as it cools. That's our jelly filling, quick and simple. Set that aside to cool while we check on the dough. It's been 30 minutes and the dough has risen beautifully, about 50% bigger. This is a lower hydration dough, so it's not very sticky. I don't need any additional flour on my work surface. Simply roll the dough out to around 1/2 inch thick. It's relaxed now, so it's really easy to roll, but the more you work it, the tighter it will get. For cutting out the donuts, I'm using cookie cutters. It's just a matter of finding the appropriate sizes for the donut hole and the donut. Start with the large cookie cutter first. Donut cutters are great, but I don't have one that works for this recipe, so cookie cutters it is. If I use additional flour, some of it would get worked into the trimming, so each consecutive set of donuts I cut out would be a bit tougher. I'm going to let this rest and relax so it's easier to roll out. Next, use a smaller cookie cutter to cut out the center, making sure to only go about 2/3 of the way through. You don't want to cut out the donut hole completely. That's why a typical donut cutter is not ideal for this recipe. It would completely cut out the donut and the hole. I only gave the dough an initial rest of only 30 minutes because these steps take a bit of time and the dough is still proofing. So a short initial proof gives me a lot of wriggle room so I can ensure the dough does not overproof. Once cut, place the donut on a lined baking tray. The rework trimmings is mostly relaxed, so I'm going to roll it out again. This is only going to give me 2 more donuts plus trimmings. I never really like working with trimmings. Next, ball up all of that. I probably should have let it rest first because this is now really tight and rough. For those on the baking tray, I'm going to cover for the final proof, which takes between 1 hour and 45 minutes. An inverted baking tray of the same size makes a nice cover. The last bit of trimmings is rested and much easier to work with now. I'm going to ball it up again and smooth it out a bit. I could get another donut from that trimming, but I am done reworking trimmings. And that's it. Still kinda rough, but that won't affect the final taste and texture much. After 30 minutes, these are ready. The final proof should make the donut feel very light for its size. I'm going to deep fry the donuts on medium to medium low heat. I like to use the trimmings to gauge when the oil is ready. It's a nice tasty test. Now that oil is ready, we can gently place the donuts in. Flip frequently for even cooking and browning. These cook in around 5 to 6 minutes and they should sound a bit hollow when you top them. I like a nice golden brown crust on my donut, but you can switch it up to fit your taste. Usually these are tossed in cinnamon and sugar or just sugar, but I really love dusting them with powdered brown sugar. Making powdered brown sugar, or any powdered sugar for that matter, is really easy. You of course need sugar. I'm going to add some cinnamon and a little bit of cornstarch to prevent clumping. Everything goes inside a blender and simply blend until it's powdered. I really like using powdered brown sugar. It's a really simple thing to make, but if that's still too much hassle, just use some regular sugar. That has its own charms as well. Sprinkle generously on both sides, starting with the bottom. For the donut holes, use your finger to gently push in and create space for the filling. That's why you don't want to cut the holes out completely. Be careful and try not to do this when it's too hot. The filling should be cool and ready. The gelatin not only helps with thickening but also gives this a nice mouthfeel. All that's left now is to grab a piping bag and fill those donuts. Yes man, that is it. Homemade jelly-filled Jamaican donuts, these are so good, especially if you have them warm like I do here. The filling has a really nice texture and holds up well. The flavors are perfectly balanced, just the right amount of sweet and tart, just like the donuts I used to buy in high school. I could easily scarf down half a dozen of these. So what do you think? Will you give these a try? Let me know down in the comments. And don't forget to drop a like, subscribe and all that good stuff. And I'll catch you in the next one.